animation? Let's talk some animation. I love talking about animation. I have a whole site about talking about animation that I just started up again that you should check out. You should love talking about animation because animation is fun to talk about. So in that case, let's go! As you all very well know, we are a little over halfway through the year 2016, which makes me think, wow, this has gone by really fast. And in that amount of time, we have gotten an abundance of animated features and we still have a lot more to go. There have been some great ones like Zootopia, there have been some middling ones like Ratchet and Clank and the Angry Birds movie, and there have been some downright awful ones. Like you, Norm. In any case, this weekend brought the release of Illumination Entertainment's The Secret Life of Pets. This video is not an official review for The Secret Life of Pets. I have already done that on DDP, etc., and you can read it by clicking the link down in the description. It'll take you right to it. But it's safe to say that I was fairly disappointed coming out of this movie for a number of reasons, a couple of which I would like to talk about today because I think it's important to the animation industry as a whole. There were things to like about this movie. The animation style was, you know, it wasn't like super realistic like the How to Train Your Dragon movie, but it was a little bit more cartoony style that it worked. I approved. I thought it looked visually appealing. The movie itself was kind of a mess. One of the big glaring issues that I just could not ignore during the movie, the laziness of the tropes handled and the way that corporate anything kind of got flung into this movie, whether I like to see it or not. If you aren't aware, Illumination is owned by NBC Universal, which obviously owns the NBC networks and Universal Pictures, and that in turn is owned by Comcast, which just bought Dreamworks. And among the things that I didn't like about this movie, like I said, the corporate synergy, there was just a problem with just how prevalent it was throughout the movie. This is not to say that other animation companies that are owned by larger companies don't do this, because as we all know, Disney is pro with that, Pixar is part of that. But the thing that annoyed me about this movie is that usually those links are sort of hidden and it's kind of an afterthought, or it's an Easter egg that's in the movie and you just kind of, you see it if you're looking for it, but if you don't, it doesn't take away from the story. In this movie, there was just so much of it. So, in case you weren't aware that Illumination is owned by the same people who own NBC, they make it so very apparent that it is. There's the abnormally large cast full of wonderful people who are all from or were on at some point Saturday Night Live, which is on NBC. There's so many of these characters that felt like they needed to be there because they had someone from NBC that the makers thought, we need to put them in this movie for the sake of having this name on the marquee, and that annoyed me quite a bit because it felt it wasn't serviceable to the story and whatnot. Here's the thing, Pixar is famous for putting little nods to things in their works, but they're just blink and you'll miss it things. Like seriously, you won't find them unless you're actively looking for them. With this movie, you had no choice but to be reminded what else Illumination Entertainment has done. In the 6 years that Illumination Entertainment has been around, half of their entire filmography, they've made 6 films, 3 of those films are in the Despicable Me franchise, and a 4th one is coming along the way. They make sure you know that. There is a dog in a Minion costume in an after-credits scene. They play Pharrell's Happy, which if you weren't sick of already, you're gonna be sick of it by now, which was in Despicable Me 2 in this movie. And they have a very prolonged presence of a poster for their next movie, Sing. There's a time and a place and a length amount of time to do an Easter egg, and that's just cutting it way too long, and this kept taking me out of the movie. The guy who is in charge of Illumination Entertainment is the guy that's going to be in charge of Dreamworks Animation when this purchase is complete, and this has me worried because if this is the type of content that they're okay with producing, just this middling content that just rips off things. It is a rip-off of Toy Story. I challenge you to watch this movie and to not think beat for beat of Toy Story. That's not to say that Dreamworks hasn't had its share of, you know, being accused of ripping off things, but I think after like 2008 or so, they moved past that. They've been doing more original things now, except for Trolls. We can get past that. This entire company just speaks of laziness. and that's something that I don't think is good for the film itself. I think this could have been a much better film if corporate anything wasn't such a big concern in the making of it. I also think that this is an example of a company that doesn't feel like they need to try and are rolling in all their minions' money. They know how to do one thing, but I think I can say, and I think a lot of people can say, we're all so very sick of the minions. Put it this way, as the logo for Illumination Entertainment was coming up during this movie, it spelled out Minion first and then Illumination Entertainment. If it wasn't any obvious already, it is now. This is the first truly original feature that they've done in 6 years, and they still can't get away with this. None of these other companies, except for maybe Blue Sky, have this one thing that they keep running into the ground. I mean, like, at least with Disney, they've been able to evolve over time, and so has Pixar. And they've been able to do multiple things. What Illumination needs to realize is that they can't keep nailing this into the ground, because people are going to get annoyed and they're not going to want to see any of this. I don't want to see any of this. I really hope that Sing is a very good movie at the end of this year, because I need something other than this to prove that they can do original content. If this is what they're going to do, and if this is what Chris Meledandri has in mind for Dreamworks, there have already been people at Universal saying that they're going to revive the Shrek franchise, which already ran itself into the ground. And if this is their plan, my hope for the future of both of these companies has just gone down, because I feel like the dollar is speaking more than the creative spark, and I feel like that is the worst possible thing to happen to any creative team, any production company, is to have someone come in and be like, well, we think this is going to make more money, so we're going to make this instead, and it's going to be bad, and we don't care, it's going to make a lot of money anyway. That is the worst mindset for any of these studios to have, and it's one thing to think it, but to actually come out and say that, I'm shocked. There are people inside Dreamworks that work at Dreamworks that are high up on the corporate ladder that know creatively where this company is supposed to go. I don't know why they brought in this guy, Chris Meledandri, who is running this middling quality production company, to run this really high-class production company. I know Dreamworks has had some clunkers, but for the most part, they've been really influential. And then you have people like Bonnie Arnold and Mario Soria and all of these people, and Guillermo del Toro, and all these people that work at Dreamworks. If anybody should have gotten this job running Dreamworks, it should have been them or somebody on the inside at Dreamworks creatively who knows what they're doing. That's the end of my rant. My advice for you, if you're going to see a movie anytime soon, I would definitely go see Finding Dory again. That is more deserving of your dollar than Illumination and their cheapo minion everything. Anyways, if you want to see more content from me, whether I'm ranting about animation or Broadway like I did last week or anything else, I make videos every single Sunday, approximately. I also sometimes put little things up on my second channel. Usually those are a little more vloggy, informal type things. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Tumblr, and on the very new and updated DDP, etc., my animation site. I've updated the upcoming pages, the studio pages. I've reviewed Finding Dory, Secret Life of Pets, as I said, as well as given my thoughts on some of the things that I've missed in the last 2 months. I've given that a break, and now I'm back and I'm ready to get back in the saddle running that. And if there's anything else in the animation industry you'd like me to talk about in a video or in DDP, etc., you can also leave a comment about that. Thanks for watching. Remember to keep living awesome lives, and I'll see you soon. Bye.